Hey there, it's a Tuesday, which means it's time for another in real life video. And this week we've got a gentle viewer submitted question. As always, you can submit one. Helps if you include a question mark in there, but it's not necessary. And it'll get added to the big list that I've got working for just tons I've received. We're slowly getting our way through there. Of course, if it's like too personal or like would require me breaking like YouTube terms of service, sorry, obviously I can't answer that. But otherwise, go for it. Anyway, the person who submitted this week's, their username should be in the bottom portion of the screen right about now. And they ask, where do you see the channel in 5 years? Your channel has slowly evolved to include vlog Q&A videos and some reaction videos. How do you see the channel evolving further over the next several years? Which I thought was a pretty good question to sort of field right now, since, we had just done sort of something new for the channel. We did our watch along for a TV series, albeit it's a TV series related to a video game, or a video game series, a video game franchise, one that is also especially poignant on this channel. But I thought it worked out pretty well. Of course, talking about the Let's Watch Fallout, and of course the accompanying sort of videos that went with it, sort of thinking about fan theories and doing predictions before it started, not airing, I guess, but before it went up on streaming. But I very much enjoyed doing that. I would say I could very easily see myself doing more of it, and definitely more of it just with the Fallout series in and of itself, but I enjoyed the process so much. I would totally be down, I think, for doing other video game related shows, right? I would be down for that. Shows or movies, that could be fun. Obviously, I suspect the Fallout show will be like what does the best, right? Because there's such an overlap of interest. But I don't know, there's other things too, like the Edge Runners anime. That could be fun to look at. It could also be fun to look at like stuff that's kind of bad, right? Anything particularly focused on a role-playing game would have like top priority, but we could even do like weirder, goofy stuff, right? It could be fun to sort of laugh about. Well, I don't know. It sounds kind of mean when I say it that way. It'd be kind of fun to just look at and make fun of it, it'd be fun for that. I don't know. Maybe we should. I don't know. It's entirely within the realm of possibility. But yeah. True enough, we've added a bunch of stuff to the channel. We've also taken away a few things as well. There's things that I would love to see come back. A lot of the channel just kind of operates at my core ethos for running the channel since the beginning is that, and that is that I kind of just do whatever I want, right? I kind of just do what I want. If I find, a niche of stuff that does well and I like it, we'll operate within there, which I'm fortunate enough to where it's like, Elder Scrolls and Fallout seems to do pretty well on the channel, right? Across YouTube, it tends to be a bit of a more popular video games area, right? Especially when it comes to non-live service games. But I'm fortunate enough that I really like those games, so I don't really mind doing a whole bunch of stuff about that. And if anything, I want to get more Fallout going pretty soon, right? I've very much been wanting to. Yeah, okay, here's something. I've talked about this for a bit, but I want to, before we do our like main Fallout 4 survival playthrough or whatever, before we even do our Fallout 3 playthrough, I would love to do sort of not a retrospective on Fallout 4, but just sort of like looking back at Fallout 4, sort of my old save, right? I would love to go back in there and sort of, I don't know, catalog and archive all the like settlements and stuff that I threw together and just sort of revisit it. So I'm thinking about like this week or next week, kind of getting into that, right? Because I don't expect it to be, it's not like a full ass playthrough, right? It's not a complete playthrough of the entire game. It's not like the usual fare that is on the channel. But, I don't know. Like I said from the start, I kind of want to just do it for myself. Like, just to have it archived, just to sort of have that character and those settlements just up somewhere, aside from a few screenshots here and there on Steam or whatever. I think that would be fun, and I feel like it's poignant right now with Fallout sort of being the current zeitgeist. And make no mistake, I'm also fully wrapped into it. I've found myself drinking more cola. I've definitely been singing Fallout songs a lot more because of the show, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's something in the more immediate time that I would say, sure, absolutely. As for like longer range developments, like I said, I could see myself doing not just the Fallout show, but other video game to television or film movie adaptations. I could see us doing like a watch along in that same vein, right? Similarly with the in real life videos that we're doing here, if I want to, I could totally see myself doing it like far more often than just once a week, right? Which, you know, last week or whenever the Fallout show was going on, we did them pretty much daily for a few days there. I could see myself doing that. I could probably, if anything, I would say as we start doing more and more of these in real life videos, I think it would be crucial to sort of go back and like reorganize them all or sort of like reclassify them all. And we could maintain the sort of like in real life sort of super playlist that contains everything. Every single one that has had me just being like a talking head speaking into a webcam. But we could sort of shift them into various like overarching topics where it's like, oh, this is like behind the scenes YouTube, right? If you're interested in sort of doing your own YouTube channel and you're seeking like advice or input or anything like that, or just takes, here's like a sub playlist that contains every single in real life video that was about that, right? Or here's one that's all of me sort of, I don't know, talking about my ideas on like role-playing games or something like that, right? Just sort of ways of classifying them all and making it a little bit easier to find, right? Rather than just having like, oh, this is the most recent in real life video. Sort of that way it's just easier to sort through and find older stuff if you're looking for it, right? I could totally see that, totally see other types of in real life videos. I did like 2 or 3 of them in the very early days of the channel. I used to do post playthrough reviews. I could see those coming back in a lot more of a less edited and more like casual form, right? I could see myself doing it to where it's like, oh, we just finished a game that I feel like confident in reviewing. I'll just do like an in real life video that's called like post playthrough review and then with the name of the game, right? Like for instance, if I finish Dragon's Dogma 2, well, when I finish Dragon's Dogma 2, we could do one for that and say like, oh, this is sort of my takes on the game sort of just after we had finished it. It's something that I've thought about for a while because usually for most games, when we get to the end, as the credits roll, I like to sort of give my thoughts on the game as a whole, you know, like I feel like a lot of people sort of, you know, as the credits are rolling, you sort of take in and sort of, you know, recollect all your thoughts on the experience as a whole, right? I sort of do that anyway, so this is just like one little step extra removed. And we could do that, right? We could bring back guides, right? The channel was kind of formed off of the back of initially Morrowind Mondays and Morrowind Mechanics, the video guides I did long ago. However, I don't see myself actually doing that. If I did want to do it, I would do it on like a separate channel, right? I would have it be divorced from what we're doing here so as to sort of make it to where that channel, the guide channel, is extremely streamlined and super easy to just find stuff like that, where I just have it incredibly like narrowed down and focused on one specific like game. Like if I wanted to do only Elder Scrolls games, this is something that I've thought about a lot. I could do like a spin-off channel about that or whatever, right? Definitely something I've thought about, right? Otherwise, what other channel or what other sort of videos? I've thought about doing like videos talking about clothes and stuff. I'm not sure, right? Because I definitely have takes on that, but I don't know. I don't want to like. I mean, there's definitely a way in which I could spin that, right? And there have been some folks asking for it in a way, sort of just looking at menswear as it appears in video games, you know, sort of doing a miniature video series on that. That could be kind of fun, right? Even though I'm far from like an expert, I'm like intermediate in my knowledge. I'm like somewhere there in the middle, upper middle, for my understanding, I would say. So I feel like I've got something of value, and certainly I don't think there's anyone else really gunning for the position, right? There's, yeah, like I can't think of anyone else who would go for that, at least in menswear, right? I've seen there was a really fun video that someone did looking at clothing in Oblivion, right? I watched a video on that, and she did a pretty fun job there, but that wouldn't be the same because I don't know like historical clothing in that sense, right? It would have to be like specifically like tailoring or whatever, right? In that way. But yeah, that's something else I've thought about. Just ways in which we could spin off in real life videos. Here's another one that I've thought about. And this would probably work on this channel that I would be down for, right? Because I don't need it to be super concise, but have just like a let's read playlist or whatever. And it wouldn't be the first time that someone has done this. I know plenty of other, like, especially Bethesda-focused channels and stuff who do videos in which they just read through an entire book in the game, right? It's something that I've talked about before in the past. Absolutely something that I could see myself doing. It's super simple as well. If I did do it, and I've talked about this before as well, but we may as well have it here collected. That way it's easier to find. But if I did do this, I would prefer it if every time I did the reading, we'd probably do like a picture-in-picture. That way it gives someone, like, if you really want to look at the video rather than just listen to it, at the very least you can sort of look at me reading, right? So we would probably do like the book, and then with a little, you know, like quarter screen or whatever of me sort of reading it or something. I don't know. Something along those lines is doable. But that's something I've thought about, sort of cataloging all of the Elder Scrolls books, just having them in one place, because we've had a lot of people ask for that, saying like, oh, if you just did one super playlist of all the reading that you do typically at the end of an Elder Scrolls playthrough, I would totally just listen to that, right? And I think if I did do that, I wouldn't just want it to be just me reading the book. I would want it, like, you know, if there's a takeaway to have from the book, I would love to do it, or just like, you know, sort of exactly what we do with the playthroughs, right? Sort of exactly the same thing, where if it's a really fun read, I'll be like, oh, this was a really fun read. It kind of plays into the game mechanics in an interesting way. I like how it meshes with the lore or whatever, right? I feel like that's something totally within the realm of possibility. Oh, something else I would love to bring back on this channel, in fact. I would love to bring back the Behold videos, right? Someone else sent in a question about this, but I figure, hey, this kind of works here too. Right, so apologies, but hey, here you go. The Behold videos, if you've looked at like the channel's landing page or whatever, we did like 3 or 4, I think, wherein it was a relatively new game release, one that I knew I didn't have time to play, and we just spent like an hour or two sort of just playing through the opening moments of the game, just sort of looking at it, sort of like a quick look or a preview or something like that, right? That you would see on like a a more reviews focused channel or whatever, I could totally see myself doing that. Bringing that back as a fun way to sort of like dip our toes into newer releases and stuff, right? As they sort of come out, I'm like, oh, okay. Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader has come out, but I definitely don't have time for it anytime soon. However, I would love to sort of like get a little video out. I would love to look at it on a personal level, and it would be nice for the channel probably to just sort of like key into it being sort of talked about in the moment and just do one quick one-off video and potentially have the promise of like, oh, in the future, maybe we'll get to this, right? And as well, I guess we could do like catch-up videos too, for like I said, in the case of Rogue Trader, sure, I kind of missed the boat on that for doing it as it comes out, but I don't see any reason to not do it, right? We could just do Behold Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader and hit that up until we eventually get to a full playthrough and then, you know, just start a new character or whatever. I think there's a lot of potential in that. And as well, sort of behind the scenes, I think it's a fun way to make use of like sort of showing off indie role-playing games. I don't really want to stray too far from doing role-playing games because I kind of do enjoy the niche of role-playing games. I find that like they're easiest for me to talk about and sort of just like waffle on and banter over role-playing games specifically. Especially like sort of immersive simulation sandbox role-playing games, and then narrative, and then finally action role-playing games are probably the ones I do best with in that order. Action role-playing games being at the bottom because, you know, there's just so much action. You have to kind of devote extra brain capacity to sort of doing that in real time. Whereas if it's like turn-based or narrative, it's a lot slower pace. So you can sort of talk and just like ramble about the game, at your own pace, right? Rather than like, oh, I need a dodge roll or something like that, you know? But yeah, would love to bring back the Behold videos if you've seen or are familiar with any of them. I think it would be super dope to sort of highlight indies. Like I said, I've been sent or had offered like game keys, you know, because we're now a channel that's like eclipsed 100k subscribers, which, like I've said before in the past, I think the subscriber count is like fairly unimportant, but it is useful for getting noticed by like, I don't know, companies and stuff, whether it be like an indie developer or like someone wanting to put ads out and sponsor, like do a sponsorship collab with you or whatever, right? It's useful in those regards. And along those same lines, like I said, I've been offered keys for indie games, role-playing games at that I have just like had to turn down because it's like I didn't think I had any way to cover it in that time. And I feel like that would be pretty cool, you know? Even if not too many people watch them, right? Like I expect it to fluctuate wildly depending on the popularity of the game. But just to bring back Behold as a video series, I think would be very fun, right? That said, it feels a little shallow to only go in for like 1 or 2 hours of gameplay, but there's, like I said, there's no other way to do it, I think. Just not enough time, right? Just not too many games, not enough time. But yeah, I could see that as like a fun way to get into that. Yeah, if anything, that feels pretty high priority to me, is to get Behold up and running again. I think I need to get proper templates and stuff going for that, because I think I deleted them to install like Alan Wake 2 or something, right? Just as well, for the post-playthrough reviews, like obviously I still play games in my free time, like for not the channel, because, you know, I just like playing games and stuff. So like I've been playing Stardew Valley again. I've played and loved Alan Wake 2 so much. Oh my gosh. That would be like a prime candidate, even though it's not within the channel's wheelhouse whatsoever. I'd be down for doing like a a post-playthrough review in real life video, sort of just talking about like, oh, I played Alan Wake 2 off camera, and wow, I really enjoyed it, and this is sort of my rough thoughts on it, just here spitballing, you know? That'd be super rad, I think. And especially, you know, once you finish the game, sometimes you get that, like, post-game high, you know, the post-playthrough high, where you're just, like, still kind of fixated and obsessed with it, and that's all you can kind of think about, and I think it would just be, like, a great outlet for me to just, like, sort of funnel all that and just talk about somewhere and just sort of, like, shoot it out there into the world. Whether or not anyone sees it, at least I got it out of me, you know? Anything else? I don't know. I'm open to a lot, right? Like, for instance, we have done weird stuff. Like I said, we had Behold that went on for a bit. I definitely gotta bring that back. Probably very crucially to the channel are shorts, right? YouTube shorts that we have done for the channel, which has been like a huge point of success for like catapulting the channel into the spotlight, as it were. Not necessarily like prime center, but sort of getting us on the map. Very lucky in that regard, in that I was such an early adopter to YouTube shorts, and that sort of the channel was so perfectly suited for just churning them out because it's already just clipped directly from the playthroughs. Extremely fortunate in that regard. Obviously, since the start of it, there's so many more people now creating YouTube shorts, and sort of the market for it is super saturated, right? So even channels bigger than mine do not necessarily pull in massive numbers with their YouTube shorts and all of that, you know. That is... We're not quite anymore at the days of kind of reliably getting them to just rocket off, right? But fortunately for myself, I have to put very little work into them. So it's not too much trouble. Like, as long as I'm getting like some small return on them, it's totally worth it, because it's so simple for me to do, because the videos are kind of, they practically make themselves in a sense. I've also thought about sort of taking that to TikTok, right? I'm down for that. I've had quite a few people write in as well, messaging me either through email or like on Twitter direct messages and stuff, letting me know that there actually are several, I don't even know if they're still up, I haven't checked recently, but there are a few, I don't know what you call them on TikTok, I guess channels or users or whatever. I'm super unfamiliar with it, but there are a few that are just like straight up ripping my shorts and just putting, they're ripping my shorts, you know, eat my shorts, they're eating them, but they're putting them up there. And so people will very kindly sort of write to me and say like, oh, I think this channel is totally stealing your stuff, right? And there's very little recourse that you actually have for that cross-platform. But I know that a lot of other channels that do YouTube shorts and whatnot have also gotten into TikTok, and I don't see why not, right? I may as well do it. They've, as far as I know, there used to be some kind of rule where YouTube preferred if you didn't have them mirrored on another site, but now it seems like that's not a big issue, right? It's probably just something I just need to do. I can very easily just pull all of the YouTube shorts that I've got and just pop them onto TikTok one every day. I don't know if you can schedule stuff on that site. I have no idea. But yeah, it's definitely something I need to do. Just make myself like an official one, you know. I don't imagine it will drive nearly as much traffic to the YouTube channel, right? But hey, it's easy enough. I've done the work already, right? It's like, if I hear that money on TikTok is pretty abysmal, right? But hey, if that's like $50, you know, that's like a new shirt or something, right? That's something somewhere, right? That counts for something. $50 a month or whatever, maybe. maybe not even that. I don't know. I don't know how dire it is. I hear it's pretty dire as far as money is concerned if you're not willing to go into like ads within the video or sponsorships or like selling product, which I don't know if I want to do. I don't know if I'm down for that. Maybe I would be willing to do ads on a video if it were something that I was into. Like, I wouldn't want to, like, am I willing to burn this bridge right here? Right? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't do a Temu ad within a video. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to do a Temu ad. Get out of here, dude. I'm not going to do an ad for like Sheen or Shane or whatever it's called. I ain't going to do that. You gotta be kidding me. I don't care how good the money is. I'm not doing it. Sorry. But, I have actually had a couple requests from groups like that, from companies like that, to have me like do a little talk in the middle. You know what I'm talking about. There are ones I would love to do it for, right? Like stuff that I actually do use and enjoy what they make and produce, or like their service or whatever. There are a few. There's one that I've been eyeing for a while, and I'm like, I don't know if I should reach out or not. I'm a little scared. They make really nice stuff. I don't know. I'm a video games channel. Do I really want to reach out to a place that does like clothes? Right? I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll shoot my shot. We'll see. But yeah, I think that about covers it as far as the future of the channel, right? I'm not sure if I would say I'm super down to just adapt to whatever, right? Like I said, being an early adopter of shorts did wonders for the channel. Like I said, it just really catapulted the channel into the limelight. Even with the newer shorts, obviously not doing quite as big of numbers as the ones initially. It's still a significant, noticeable amount. They're still super easy to make. It's worth it. Sort of, I think that's kind of the crux of doing this, is that you need to be willing to adapt to like some sort of new form of a video, right? And sometimes you get lucky and it's easy to adapt to that. And other times you're super unlucky, right? Like if you're a video essayist, I don't really know how you, like there's no way a video essayist could possibly still produce high quality video essays and do YouTube shorts as fast as like I do them, right? Because what they make just isn't well suited for it. You could do a few here and there, but like I said, you would have to be also just making shorts on the side or making TikToks on the side, in addition to already the demands of like creating high quality video essays and, you know, putting a lot of eggs into those baskets, or into that basket. Right. Like I've said before, it's way higher stress to be doing like video essays and whatnot, I think. But yeah, I think that's the most of it, right? I'm trying to think if there's anything else just off the top of my head. I don't know. Like I said, I'm totally willing to change things up as the course calls for it. I don't mind. I love having a focus though on role-playing games and sort of, I like I said, I'm guilty. You got me. I'm super duper into Elder Scrolls. I really like Fallout as well. I don't see why not. I even enjoy Starfield. I'm sorry. I'm a Starfield enjoyer. What can I say? So those will probably always be at the center of the channel, as well as just having fun with various CRPGs, you know? I very much enjoy that, sort of having that be the channel's bread and butter, right? Alright, I think that'll do it. Until next time, please take care of each other.